Hello and welcome to the 18 WJTS News for Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. Thank you so much for choosing us for your local news coverage this evening. I'm Kaitlyn Neukam reporting.
Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Huntingburg, Indiana. Whereas since the 1980s, 5 different studies prior to the current Lockmuller study have determined building a new terrain highway and/or bypass through Du Bois County, including the Donahue study, Rust study, Earth Tech study, Cambridge study, and I-67 study, were not economically and are environmentally feasible.
Elizabeth Elshoff of Du Bois County recited a pre-made resolution to the Huntingburg City Council at their June 10th meeting. Elizabeth Elshoff is a member of the Coalition to Stop the Mid-States Corridor project and was joined by 11 other residents from both Du Bois and Martin counties to represent both the Coalition to Stop the Mid-States Corridor project and the Property Rights Alliance with their views against the proposed Mid-States Corridor project. In summary, the pre-made resolution that was given to the Huntingburg City Council states that the government organization would pass a resolution opposing the Mid-States Corridor new terrain highway project, citing over 4 decades of its studies, including the Donahue, Rust, Earth Tech, Cambridge, and I-67 studies that found such a project economically and environmentally unfeasible. The resolution would support instead the previously funded improvements to the existing US 231 highway. It references overwhelming public opposition, including over 1,000 written comments, 10,000 petition signatures, widespread community activism, and concerns over environmental destruction, displacement of homeowners, loss of farmland and forest, and a projected cost exceeding $1 billion. The resolution, as presented to the council on Tuesday evening, would state that the council would criticize the project's lack of transparency, the exclusion of public input in its early stages, and unsupported economic benefit claims. Ultimately, this resolution as presented would affirm the city's refusal to support the project or permit the use of eminent domain or public funds by the Mid-States Corridor Regional Development Authority. Founding member of both the Property Rights Alliance and Coalition to Stop the Mid-States Corridor project, Mark Nowatarski, on why presenting a pre-made resolution was the next step for these two activist groups.
The purpose of a resolution is just to outline, here are the reasons why the Mid-States Corridor should not advance any further. And it's going to cost them money too, and it's going to cost us property owners money and the taxpayers throughout. And we just want to make it official to each of the governing entities here locally throughout the area. And that's the purpose of it. It's not new. I'll give you an example. A similar project was taking place in southeast Indiana. It was called the Link 101, and it was connecting the 101 highway and expanding that. And it was also going through, not even near the destruction that's going to happen here, but it was going through a lot of prime farmland. It was going to the construction was going to be horrible, and the people were against it, and we're able to outline all the reasons, get with the council there, presented them the resolution, which they ultimately ended up signing. Okay, once that was signed, I think it was their state representative or state senator, I can't remember, learned about it, came down, understood more of it, went back up to the State House to formally have it stopped.
The pre-made resolution was given to the Huntingburg City Council for review and will await further examination and discussion before any final decisions are made. The Property Rights Alliance and the Coalition to Stop the Mid-States Corridor project were in attendance at the previous Du Bois County Commissioners meeting that took place back on June 2nd and plans on attending next week's Du Bois County Council meeting and the Jasper City Council meeting to share their various versions of resolutions opposing the Mid-States Corridor project. The Property Rights Alliance urges local political representatives, citizens not from the Du Bois County area, as well as anyone interested in their cause to attend one of their upcoming bi-weekly meetings. The group meets every other Thursday at the Schnitzelbank restaurant in Jasper. You can find the entire transcription of the pre-made resolution as well as ways to connect with the Property Rights Alliance and the Coalition to Stop the Mid-States Corridor project on our website over on WJTS.tv. A Linton man has been formally charged as of yesterday, June 10th, with the murder of another Linton man. 39-year-old Brandon Chris of Linton was arraigned in Green Circuit Court yesterday on a charge of murder following the death of 64-year-old James David Higer of Linton sometime between Saturday, June 7th and Sunday, June 8th. Indiana State Police detectives from the Bloomington District initiated a death investigation in Higer in the early morning hours of June 8th. Firefighters from the Linton Fire Department responded to a trailer fire near 6th Street southeast of the railroad tracks in Linton. Officers from the Linton Police Department also responded as well. Higer, who was later identified during the investigation, was pulled from the flaming residence but was deceased. Firefighters noted injuries on the victim that were not consistent with the fire. Bloomington District detectives and crime scene investigators were contacted and initiated a death investigation. While using a variety of investigative techniques, detectives developed probable cause for the arrest of Chris. He was arraigned on the charge of murder with additional charges including arson, a level 4 felony, obstruction of justice, a level 6 felony, and animal cruelty, a level 6 felony. This is still an active investigation and detectives are still seeking the public's assistance, and anyone with information related to the murder should contact the Indiana State Police Bloomington District at 812-332-4411. The Indiana Soybean Alliance will be donating 4 sets of soy-based Goodyear tires to charitable organizations across the state this summer, with one of these sets going to the Spencer County Council on Aging. The organization was nominated by Spencer County farmer and ISA member Derica Spietti. The tire donation will be formally presented during the Spencer County Cruise-In Vehicle Showcase on Saturday, June 14th at 3 p.m. on Main Street in Rockport. The event will include a brief ceremony with Spietti and a representative from the Spencer County Council on Aging available to discuss the impact of the donation. Melanie Batias of ISA will also be in attendance. This marks the second consecutive year that the ISA has provided soy-based tires to Indiana nonprofits. The donation is part of an ongoing effort to promote the use of renewable resources in manufacturing, reduce reliance on petroleum products, and support the soybean farming industry through innovative partnerships. The donated tires are the result of a collaboration between Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company and the United Soybean Board, the national organization funded in part by the ISA. Since 2017, Goodyear has integrated soybean oil into its tire production, replacing petroleum-based oils to create a more sustainable, high-performing product. Tires made with soybean oil offer several environmental and performance benefits. They reduce petroleum use, improve flexibility in cold temperatures, enhance traction in rain and snow, and lower energy consumption during manufacturing. Goodyear has increased its use of soybean oil by more than 70% since 2018 and continue to make strides towards replacing all petroleum oil in its productions by 2040. The U.S. soybean crop is the country's second largest cash crop, but only 65% of it is used for food applications. Programs like this aim to increase awareness and demand for industrial uses, ultimately strengthening market value for the nation's more than 500,000 soybean farmers. A new study has found that the average wage in the U.S. isn't enough to live comfortably even in the most affordable states. According to financial tech company Smart Asset, the national median wage is about $62,000 per year. However, to live comfortably, defined as spending 50% of income on essentials like food and rent, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings or debt, Americans need significantly more money. West Virginia is the most affordable state in the study, but even there, a single adult would need nearly $81,000 annually to meet the standard of comfortable living. Hawaii tops the list as the most expensive state, requiring more than $124,000 per year. Kentucky ranks as one of the most affordable states, placing 5th overall. A single adult there just needs needs just over $83,000 to live comfortably per year. Indiana is slightly more expensive with an estimated $86,570 needed annually. Illinois falls into the middle range, not among the cheapest or most expensive. While the study didn't provide a single adult figure for Illinois, data for a family of four suggests that cost of living is moderate compared to other states. These findings highlight a growing gap between wages and the cost of living, even in traditionally low-costing states, prompting concerns about financial stability for average income earners across the country. The Indiana Department of Health says there were 6.3 deaths per 1,000 live births in 2024. The early review of this data shows the rate holds after final review. It will be the state's lowest infant death rate since it began tracking it back in 1900. The current record is 6.5 deaths per 1,000 live births, and that was set back in 2019. And in national news, a bipartisan Senate bill would raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour starting next year with automatic inflation adjustments built in. The current federal rate in Indiana's has been frozen at $7.25 since 2009. Most Indiana counties still fall below national wage averages, though major counties like Marion and Tippecanoe saw wages rise up to 9% in 2024. However, Hoosiers still need more than $22 an hour to afford a modest two-bedroom apartment. You can visit our website for the full story and how it could impact Hoosier workers. And that is your Wednesday news right here on 18 WJTS. Next up is your weather.